3HL broadcasting live from Radio Row in Vegas. Brent Doherty, Don Davenport, and Ron Slay continuing to talk about the Super Bowl and other things. And we're going to talk about the Titans head coach because Solomon Wilcots, Bleav in Bengals podcast, has some perspective there. And we're going to talk about the Bear implant with Dr. Scott Sigmund. And let's start there. Doctor, what is the Bear implant? How does that help in terms of ACL recovery? What are you trying to do there?
Yeah, I mean, we all know about ACLs, right? Devastating injuries for athletes at all levels. And so typically for an ACL, what do? We hack out a piece of your patellar tendon with a piece of bone on both sides. It hurts. It takes a long time to recover. And we're taking something that isn't supposed to be there and trying to make it work.
Right.
So what if we could repair your own ACL, put an implant in, and allow your body to regrow your own ACL? And that's what we're doing with the Bear implant. We take a piece of collagen, and that collagen absorbs your blood that we put over top of it, and your own ACL grows with nerves, with blood vessels, with a normal ACL prior to your injury.
Wow.
Really quite remarkable. This is FDA approved. It's not experimental. The research behind it goes 20 years. The NFL Players Association has made a big investment into the company as well because, as we know, ACLs are devastating for our NFL players as well. So really excited about an option that's different, really unique and different than what we're currently doing.
What's recovery time? Is it similar? Or?
Yeah, it's a great question. So because you don't have to take your own tendon, right, your own tissue, it doesn't hurt nearly as much. So you don't lose your quad strength. You don't lose your hamstring strength, right? That all stays normal. So 4 weeks you're in a brace and crutches, and then after that we joke around. It's like Forrest Gump. The braces break off, and then you run down the hallway, and off you go to rehab. And so they accelerate really quickly now, right? We don't want our athletes coming back too quick, otherwise they're going to re-tear. So it's still 8 months to a year, meeting specific measurements that you have to make to be able to have return to function. But this is an FDA-approved new technique that we're really excited about.
I love that right there. Hey, that's all right.
Yeah,
that's all right.
I was going to say, Solomon,
wish I could have had that.
You've seen plenty of injuries in this game.
Oh,
in your
absolutely.
Time.
And you've seen some players not be able to come back. The previous procedure that Dr. Sigmund talked about is very invasive. It requires a lot of good things to go right. A lot of things have to happen in order for you to have good results. We want you to go to the website at bearimplant.com/Super Bowl to find a doctor in your area or to find out and learn more about the procedure.
I like it. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the new guy in charge for the Tennessee Titans, and that would be Bill Callahan. What do you know? What are Titans getting in him?
Yeah, first of all, he worked very closely with Zach Taylor, Cincinnati Bengals head coach. He was the offensive coordinator, was not the play caller on game day, but you don't have to. People need to understand that when Andy Reid became a head coach in this league, when he first went to Philadelphia, he previously had worked in Green Bay under Mike Holmgren. He had never called plays.
Tight ends coach.
Right? That's right. He had never called plays.
I forgot.
He
Andy
becomes
Reid's
the head.
Another one.
He becomes the head coach. He starts calling his own play. All of the guys who worked under him, John Gruden worked under him, became the head coach of the Raiders. He had never called plays. You can go right down that lineage. Mike Shanahan had worked for the 49ers as the offensive coordinator when they last won a Super Bowl in 1994. He wasn't the play caller in that game.
Zach Taylor,
You see?
a perfect
Zach Taylor's
example.
another guy. So the point is that you have yourself a really good coach who I think understands with his dad, Bill Callahan, who's one of the best offensive line coaches you're ever going to get in the NFL. You almost got a 2-for-1 with the Tennessee Titans. And what he does is he integrates the running game very well with the pass game. Brian was very instrumental in the development of Joe Burrow. Now, you guys got yourself a pretty young quarterback. You're going to find out just how good he is because he's going to get coached really well. He's going to be put in a system that helps him to understand the progression and get the ball out very quickly. Now you got to go out and get some talent around him.
Right.
But one thing you cannot do, you don't get to poach the Cincinnati Bengals roster and get T.
Higgins right there too now, baby.
You just don't get to do that.
You know, the Titans do have some money in free agency now.
Honestly, that is a popular topic in Nashville.
Yeah.
You know where he's from, right?
Yep.
Yeah, East Oak Ridge. Yeah, that's
There you
right.
go.
A little east.
That's right. That's right.
You've been in the AFC North. You familiar with Denard Wilson as well?
Absolutely,
Okay.
yeah.
What are your
And
thoughts
look,
on him?
really good defense coach, great. To me, when you coach on the back end, you coach secondary, and you get to understand how things fit together. That's really very critical. Your best, and I'm a little biased here, but your best defensive coordinators are the guys who started on the back end. They started as secondary coaches. Bill Belichick started as a secondary coach, ended up taking over the whole defense. Guys like Tom Landry was a secondary coach. You even look at now across the landscape of our league, every single great defensive coach. Tony Dungy started out as a secondary coach. Steve Spagnuolo started out as a secondary coach. Sean McDermott started out as a secondary coach. When you can coach on the back end, you see, because this is a passing league.
Yes.
You got to be able to defend every blade of grass, knowing how all 11 fit in, and you can't let them throw it over your head. You got to eliminate big plays in the passing game.
Right.
And so the guys that can speak from the back end to the front end and help everybody understand where they fit. One of the best ever, the guy I played for, Dick LeBeau, started out on the back end. He was a great defensive back in our league, and then came up through the ranks as a defensive back coach. I can't tell you how many coaches across the league talk to Coach Belichick about it. You talk to all of them. They'll say, no, this is where the game starts, and this is how we build it.
Right.
And so when you get one of them, man, you got yourself a good chance.
Always love seeing you, Solomon. And, again,
bearimplant.com/Super Bowl.
Yep.
I'm telling you, man. Look, sports medicine is growing, and I'll end it on this. It's growing, and it's innovative, and it's always moving forward. And so athletes are the people to help it move forward. You know why? Because the doctor like Dr. Sigmund, if he came to an athlete and said, I don't know if this will work, but I want to try it. We think it can extend your career. We think we can get you back on the field. You know what every athlete will say?
Slay.
Where do I sign up?
Sign me up.
And so together with the smart mind of doctors like Dr. Sigmund and athletes, right, who are willing to go where no man is willing to go. You know, y'all mere mortals won't do it. You want to say, I want what Bo Jackson got, right? I want what this. And then when the athletes say yes, we prove that it works. And then the rest of the patient population get behind it. And so you can say thank you to a lot of athletes, man, because Tommy John didn't know if it'll work. He said, I'll try it. He went on to pitch another 14 seasons after having the procedure. So just wanted to drop that little knowledge on you. Now we got to move on.
That's a good one.
Solomon Wilcots Bleav in Bengals, and Dr. Scott Sigmund. Check them out, bearimplant.com/Super Bowl. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right, more 3HL coming up from Radio Row, 104.5 The Zone.